Sticking in the NFC East, the big news, the Commanders dumped both of their coordinators. Joe Witt, the DC, gone, and we're calling it a parting of ways with Kingsbury and Dan Quinn. Now, my guess is something's going to come out on this, Colin. This feels awkward, right? Like, why would you move off Kingsbury? You were in the NFC Championship a year ago with the healthy Jaden Daniels. Kingsbury was amazing, and now you're just moving on from him? What? You get a whiff that there's anything going on here?
Well, they hired a defensive coach who had been fired in Atlanta, Dan Quinn. We both thought it was a good B plus hire because we both love the idea of stabilizing the organization. But if you're asking me what I would have ideally done is hire an offensive coach. By the way, the Bears, Caleb Williams inherited a defensive coach. They have now pivoted to an offensive coach. How about Bo Nix, offensive coach? Drake May has a defensive coach, but he has probably the best coordinator in the sport, Josh McDaniels.
Right.
I think Dan Quinn's on the clock.
So, interesting.
What great coordinator is going to take that job in Washington? Why would I take the Commander's job? Well, I know that if Quinn doesn't win, I'm not getting the job as a coordinator. I think you're trapped. I think this puts the pressure on Dan Quinn. And what guy with options is choosing this job?
And that would be year 3 with Jaden. And if next year's bad, then you get a new coach year 4. And then the rookie deal's wasted. Colin, what if there's a scenario that Kingsbury is going to be a head coach? There are 6 openings. I know you don't think it worked well in Arizona. He did get them to the playoffs, Kyler Murray's only trip. What if the Raiders kick the tires on Kingsbury? Because remember, he was in discussions with them.
The answer isn't Pete Carroll's last couple of jobs bad. Kingsbury got fired by his alma mater. He's not a head coach. That's not, I know.
Because there are a couple good quarterbacks out there. Dart, Cam Ward, and Mendoza are on the board.
The knock on Kingsbury has always been he will not hold fairly disruptive players accountable. He's an offensive guy. He's a nice guy, but things get loose very quick. They did it as alma mater.
Sticking in the NFC East, the big news. Okay, Colin is basing that all off of him with his connection and his friendship with the GM from the Arizona Cardinals who worked with Kliff Kingsbury. That was years ago. Okay. How have the Arizona Cardinals looked since moving on from Kliff Kingsbury? Not good. Okay, got it. Also, you can evolve and grow as a coach, right? Okay, got it. So, clears throat. We're trying to use a reference point of how this guy coached a decade ago. And it's just silly. This whole thing is kind of bizarre and weird because, right, this team was decimated with injuries this year when they were actually healthy, and Jaden was playing the year before. The offense was awesome. Jaden Daniels was, if he actually played the full season, he was going to be in the 4,900 club, whatever Lamar did that year that everybody was freaking out about. And Jaden, as a rookie, was essentially on his track to doing that. They struggled from an O-line perspective and a consistent run game perspective. Not Kliff Kingsbury's fault. And now this year, what are you going to judge Kliff Kingsbury on right now? He was able to win games and make Marcus Mariota look quite competent. That's actually kind of a success, man. Just the way how that offense looked against the Denver Broncos shows what Kliff Kingsbury can do. And this is with Terry McLaurin, Debo, etc. in and out of the lineup. So maybe they did mutually agree to part ways so he could try to become a head coach. I think that's definitely possible. If he does not become a head coach, then I see that being a true problem from the Washington Commanders. Then there's scapegoating involved here where there's pressure because also we can file the defensive coordinator all you want, but Dan Quinn is supposed to be the defensive mind in that building. He's supposed to be the defensive mind. He's the one that was credited for fixing the defense in Dallas and building amazing defenses. Michael Parsons was Dan Quinn's my guy. And it's that's what Dan Quinn is supposed to bring to the Washington Commanders, build this defense. So it is awesome. So it is great. So we talk about the Washington Commanders defense as if it's the Eagles, the Chargers, the Chiefs, before they obviously fell apart, where we're just hey, that defense can get after you. That defense is going to make things tough for you. That is why you hire a Dan Quinn to do that and to obviously be the head coach to stabilize, et cetera, et cetera. And he hasn't done that right now. It's not like we could say, oh, we had all these injuries, but at least the defense looked pretty good or this or that. Like, just look at what Robert Saleh has been able to do with the defense, considering all of the injuries that they've had on both sides of the ball, but especially defensively. So, yeah. So now, so now firing both coordinators is like, it reminds me of when the Falcons fired, they fired their like wide receiver coach or something. They're like, oh yeah, that'll do it. That'll fix the problems you have right now. You fired the wide receiver coach. Like, okay, sure. It's like, yeah, you did it. It's like, come on. I mean, the Los Angeles Rams fired their special teams coach. I think it was after the Seahawks game, and then their next game they get rocked by the Atlanta Falcons, and Matthew Stafford has 3 turnovers, a pick 6, etc. It's like, is that special teams' fault? Like, don't think so. So I find this, really weird. Like, Jack is talking about something will come out. I don't know exactly what he means by that, but also like being tough and holding players accountable, this, that, and the third. Like, that's not necessarily your role as an offensive coordinator at that part. So that's not why, the issues that Colin has from a head coaching standpoint for Kliff Kingsbury are just not going to rear its head from a coordinating standpoint. They're just not. So this is weird. Jaden and Kliff also had a great connection, and I know some Commander fans were getting kind of frustrated and whatnot, and kind of Jaden getting banged up that some of it is on Jaden and some of it is on the organization as a whole. And then I do put that on Dan Quinn, GM, ownership, etc. Like, I don't put it individually on Kliff Kingsbury at that part, because he is one of the lower men on that totem pole at that point. He just is. He just is. So, I don't know. This is I'm so fascinated to see now where Kingsbury goes. I mean, they showed the head coaching job vacancies. You're not going to go to Cleveland. That would be, oh my gosh, please don't do that. You're obviously not going back to Arizona. That would just be hilarious. Atlanta is kind of interesting. New York's a possibility. Titans are a possibility. And the Raiders are a possibility. But like, I mean, listen, the Eagles, this is what I'm trying to say. Like, the Eagles are struggling from a coordinating standpoint. I'm telling you right now, the Eagles would scoop up Kliff Kingsbury like that, and they would have tremendous success, because they also don't need Kliff Kingsbury to hold anyone accountable. So, yeah, I don't know. This one caught me off guard. This feels more scapegoating when you're firing your coordinators. You are decimated with injuries. This is just like, we're so upset about how this season unfolded. We just need to like make decisions, make moves. And it's like, well, your franchise quarterback was injured. And people keep also trying to use him as a reference point as to being like, well, see, he didn't look that good this year. He was never healthy. He was literally never healthy, and he was never able to play with a healthy roster around him. I was thinking about this literally last night. Jaden Daniels is still special. Jaden Daniels is still elite. Jaden Daniels is still an unbelievable quarterback. And I promise you, he is going to return to form and show everyone just how special he is. But now that you're now going to have to fire a brand new coordinator who does not have any experience with Jaden, and we have no idea the quality of who he is as a coordinator, is a massive roll of the dice. At a minimum, you still knew what Kliff Kingsbury could bring to the table. With a new coordinator, you're just simply guessing. You're just simply guessing at this point, because any of the other coordinators that you could say have experience that you would maybe want to hire, they're either just became head coaches or they're not going to leave their current teams. If there was a situation, which is what the Eagles did with Kellen Moore last year, where they were able to hire him because they knew, okay, he's an experienced coordinator. We know what we're getting here, right? Like, I could understand some of that, but like, I don't know, man. I'm just not seeing the play here personally. So it's a weird spot, and now we're already talking about Dan Quinn being on the hot seat. This is just not where the Washington Commanders want to be right now. When last year they turned everything around, NFC Championship game, you lost to the Super Bowl champions, right? You lost to a legitimate juggernaut. No harm in that, man. No embarrassment needed there, and here you are. I mean, you played better than the Kansas City Chiefs did in the Super Bowl. Like, that's part of my point here. You played better than the Kansas City Chiefs did. That means something, and now you're just setting it all on fire in hopes of getting, like, better. I Snorts, don't know, man. I don't know. It's a weird one. Snorts. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Washington Commanders moving on from Kliff Kingsbury and company? What do you think motivated this decision? Where do you think they go from here? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment, whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get into some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.